Good morning, class, and welcome back. So, in our last class, we started with modals. We saw out of all the modal verbs, auxiliaries, we saw can, could, may, might, shall, and should, isn't it? May, might, will, shall, we saw. Now, today we need to see is would. Okay, page 85. Let's start. Would is used to make polite request. For example, would you mind lending me a pen? It's a polite request. Would is used to talk about past habits, any habit that you used to do earlier. After dinner, we would sit and talk for hours. That was a past habit. Would is used to talk about imaginary situations. Okay, like I would love to go to Morocco someday. So that is something like it's an imaginary situation. Should is used to express advice or suggestions or obligations. For example, you should tell the truth. To express probabilities, for example, you should find this grammar book helpful. So there is a probability. Another is must is used to express necessity or obligation again. We must do this right way. There is necessity of completing the work. Okay. Must is used to give advice to someone, especially when you want to emphasize that it is for their own good. For example, you must stop telling lies. It will be better for you. So when you want to advise to someone, especially when we want to emphasize that it is going to be wrong or it is not going to be good on them, so that is when we use must. Another one is ought to. Ought is used to express duty or moral obligation. When you have certain duties to complete, when you have moral obligation, that moral obligation means like it is beyond my ethics, I cannot do this. So these are your ought to. Okay, for example, we ought to obey our parents. That is a moral obligation, or like it's like it's not moral, it's your duty. We cannot we ought to, I mean like we have to obey our parents. That is what ought to means. Another is we ought to protect our national monument. That is our moral obligation. Okay. Ought to is used to express necessity. Like we ought to buy a cupboard. So there is a necessity of buying a cupboard. Next is used. Used to. Used to is used to indicate something that was a habit but has been discontinued. A habit that was carrying on for a very long time but it has been discontinued. Okay. For example, she used to learn yoga, which it is discontinued now. Need is used to denote necessity or obligation. It is commonly used in negative and interrogatives, for example. Like need is used for whenever you are interrogating, asking question, or commonly used in negative kind of sentences. Okay, let's see more of an example. Like Jaya need not go to post office. Do I need to help him? So there is a negativeness or there is a question over there. So that is what use of a need is. Now last one is dare. Now I have seen many of the students playing dare or truth. So what actually dare is? Okay. Now dare is something where you know out of all your threat that you have, you try to do it. That is what dare is. Your dareness. Okay, daringness. So dare is used in interrogative and negative sentences where the implication is to be bold enough to. So dare is what? Your boldness. That is what dare it is. So when you have to show your implication or to show implication of like to be bold enough to do anything, that is when we use dare. How dare she criticize us? So how bold her to be, how bold enough of her to criticize us. So to criticize others, you really have to be bold enough. Yes or no? That means you don't have any flaws, that's why you're criticizing others. So there you see the boldness of that person. So that is what daring is. Okay, so how dare she criticize us? I dare not sleep alone in the dark. I cannot be that bold enough to sleep alone in the dark. Dare is used to imply a challenge. We also use dare, what you play, is to imply a challenge. Can you accept a challenge that I give you? For example, I dare you to finish up the whole pizza. I know many of you can do it, okay, but like it's a challenge. Notice how the use of models affects the meanings of a sentence. You have to understand how the models change the effects of the sentence, or affects the meaning of a sentence. Like, you must do it means it is necessary that you do it. You mustn't do it, that means it is necessary that you do not do it. You needn't do it means it is not necessary for you to do it. And you ought to do it expresses moral obligations or desirability. Okay, as an ordinary verb, need means want or require. So need, again let's go up. Need we already have seen. Now, as an ordinary term or ordinary verb, need means want, you know, or require. That is what need is. For example, I do not need so much money, but here it is used for different purpose, for necessity or obligations. Okay, commonly used in negative or interrogative of a sentence. Now that is the end of the chapter modals or modal auxiliaries we have just seen. Now you have related that you have plenty of exercises, exercise A, B, C, D, and you have fill in the blanks with appropriate models to complete this notice. Why they have given a notice? Because your next work is notice writing, so they might have given you this exercise A. Okay, anyways, let's try doing this. Okay, and if you have any doubt regarding the chapter, just let me know. Okay, and I want you all, just watching this video will not be enough. I want you all to yourself read it and try to understand it, the chapter. Okay, because it looks easy but it is quite difficult, and though these are the modal verbs we use in our day-to-day life, but we need to know what signifies what, and then when do we use which one, which modal auxiliaries. So that is very important. So let's just read, try practicing reading, and then if any doubt, please let me know. And tomorrow we'll start with our exercises from this chapter 10 models. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.